The first time she laughed at him, it wasn't cruel, just careless, the kind of laugh that slips out when someone thinks they've figured the world out. Rain was sliding down the cafe window in uneven lines, and he stood there holding a paper cup with a lid that didn't quite fit, feeling the weight of exhaustion settle into his shoulders. She had looked him up and down, noticed the faint circles under his eyes, the toddler sticker still clinging to his jacket, and tossed out the tease like a harmless truth. A single dad like him probably couldn't please a woman. Something in the air tightened. He leaned forward, steady and calm, and the words "wanna bet" seemed to exist even before his mouth moved. That moment cracked something open, not with anger, but with quiet resolve, like a man finally daring the world to see him. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that people are more than the labels placed on them, take a second right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this exist because people still believe hearts can change. He hadn't always been this tired-looking man with cautious eyes. Years ago, he had been loud with laughter, reckless with plans, the kind of person who believed love would always find a way. But life doesn't ask permission before it rearranges everything. His wife had fallen ill fast, the kind of sickness that doesn't give time to prepare or say goodbye properly. One year, he was building a crib with trembling excitement, and the next he was learning how to braid hair while answering questions from a child who couldn't understand why mommy wasn't coming back. Grief didn't explode, it settled. It folded itself into laundry, into grocery lists, into the silence after bedtime stories. He learned how to survive, not how to feel alive. Being a single father wasn't heroic in the way movies make it look. It was messy, repetitive, and lonely. He woke before dawn to pack lunches and iron tiny shirts, then rushed to work with his mind half at home. Nights were spent cleaning toys off the floor and staring at the ceiling once the house finally went quiet. Friends drifted away, not out of cruelty, but because his life no longer fit their schedules. Dating felt like a foreign language. He didn't even know where to begin, and part of him wondered if it was selfish to want more when his child already needed so much. She came into his life in the most ordinary way, through mutual friends and a coffee run on a gray afternoon. She was sharp, confident, someone who moved through the world like it owed her answers. She had her own scars, though she hid them behind humor and quick judgments. Relationships, for her, had always been about excitement, about being wanted without having to wait. When she looked at him, she saw responsibility, routine, and sacrifice, and she mistook those things for dullness. Her teasing wasn't meant to wound, it was meant to protect her from getting close to something that felt heavy. After that first encounter, they crossed paths again and again. He noticed how she softened when she thought no one was watching, how her smile lingered when his child tugged at his sleeve, and he instinctively knelt to listen. She noticed how he never complained, how his patience seemed endless, how his presence made rooms feel steadier. Slowly, the bet she had joked about became something unspoken between them, a challenge neither wanted to name. He wasn't trying to impress her. He was simply being who he had learned to become. Life didn't suddenly get easier because she was around. There were nights his child cried for no clear reason, mornings when work deadlines collided with school emergencies. He canceled plans more than he kept them, and each time he braced himself for disappointment in her eyes. Instead, he found understanding he didn't expect. She started showing up without being asked, bringing groceries, sitting on the floor coloring, learning the rhythm of a life built around someone else's needs. It confused her how natural it felt, and that scared her more than heartbreak ever had. For him, the struggle was internal. Every step closer to her stirred guilt, as if moving forward meant leaving something sacred behind. He worried that loving again might erase the memory of the woman he had lost, that his child might feel replaced. He lay awake, questioning his worth, replaying that careless tease in his head, wondering if she was right after all. But then there were moments, small and quiet, when he caught her watching him with something like awe, and he felt a spark he hadn't allowed himself in years. The change came not through grand gestures, but through accumulation, through mornings when she waited while he buckled a car seat, through evenings when she listened to stories about his late wife without jealousy, honoring the past instead of competing with it, through the way his child began to laugh more, sensing safety in the growing circle around them. She realized that pleasure wasn't just about thrill, it was about feeling seen, supported, and chosen every day. He realized that love didn't diminish when shared, it expanded. Challenges didn't vanish. There were misunderstandings, moments when her old habits clashed with his cautious heart. She struggled with the loss of spontaneity, with the reality that she would never be first in every situation. He struggled with fear, with the instinct to retreat when things felt too good. But instead of walking away, they learned to pause, to breathe, to trust that discomfort didn't mean failure, only growth. As seasons shifted, so did they. The house that once felt heavy with silence grew warmer. Laughter returned, tentative at first, then full. He began to believe that he was more than a survivor, that he could be a partner again. She began to see strength where she once saw limitation, depth where she had expected boredom. The tease that had started everything transformed into an inside memory, a reminder of how wrong first impressions can be. What moved people most wasn't a dramatic declaration or a perfect ending, but the quiet truth of their bond. He showed her that devotion could be gentle, that desire could live alongside responsibility. She showed him that joy didn't betray grief, that opening his heart didn't mean losing his past. Together, they built something imperfect and real, layered with patience and trust. And if this story is starting to settle somewhere deep inside you, if it reminds you of someone you misjudged or a chance you were afraid to take, stay with it a little longer. In the end, the bet was never about proving her wrong. It was about proving to himself that he was still capable of love, and to her that love could look different and still be profound. The world hadn't changed around them, but they had changed within it, learning that kindness can be quiet, that second chances often arrive disguised as responsibility, and that the most fulfilling connections are built, not chased. Before this story ends, take a moment to comment below and share what this journey made you feel, whether it reminded you of your own struggles or gave you hope for something new. If this story touched your heart, if it made you believe a little more in love that grows through patience and understanding, please like the video, share it with someone who needs reassurance, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive, and sometimes that support is the reminder someone else needs to keep believing too.